Well, hello, and welcome back. It took me a little bit, but I am finally finishing up my year in review of 2012. Although we're a few more days into 2013, fuck it! Who's really gonna notice? Me. But whatever. That's not the point. That's not here or there. That's not there or here, but that's right now. And what's right now is my year in review on my shows that I watched in 2012. And fuck, there's a lot of anime. A lot of anime. Jesus Christ, I don't think anything on this list I have is not a cartoon. But that's okay. You'll all forgive me for it, I imagine. And by all of you, I just mean me. Because I really enjoy this anime. Shows I've watched. A majority of them, thanks to a man that I discovered off of YouTube by the name of Gyguk. Not his real name, his online name, but Giguk, or Gyguk, or however you may want to pronounce it. Thanks to him, there's an amazing amount of anime shows that I missed, that I never saw or noticed out there that happened, and I definitely enjoyed watching majority of these shows. Actually, I watched out of every show he recommended. I fucking enjoyed as hell. It's kind of funny because I was working with a guy who was a fucking 40-year-old piece of shit that never accomplished anything in his life, didn't have a driver's license home or anything that he could fucking show his significance of life for his accomplishments. No accomplishments at all. In my mind. Don't take that too personally. Some of you who have not achieved this in your 40. Because you failed. Yeah. And he's like, hey, you should watch Ikitosen. He always said Battle Vixens, but Ikitosen from the translation I found was like Dragon Warrior or something like that. And I'm like, sure, why not? I'll check this out. So I watched the first episode and I'm like, this is hentai-ish. Very, very hentai-ish, which I'm not against. I'm just not very for. Happens. Hentai isn't really a pervert, as it's translated in Japanese, or a majority of the animes I watch that use the term hentai, it's translated as pervert, and not my biggest thing, although a couple of these do fucking border upon that very, very closely. But that's the funny thing. The point I'm trying to get to is that Gyguk, he reviewed Ikitosen and he gave it a 2 out of 10, saying it was a fucking horrible sham of a show. And after watching his review, I decided it's not really worth watching the remainder of this series, just because I imagine it's gonna be shit. So I moved on to one of the shows they gave one of the highest ratings, Baccano. Baccano was an incredible, incredible show. Unfortunately, I hear, and it's been stated by several other people, I watch Potaku, which is a podcast with Genie, Twisted Jeans, Holden, and another dude, and then Gigik. And Baccano apparently is a incredible show that you should definitely watch dubbed. The dub version, they actually try to represent the 1930s Brooklyn or New York accents a lot more appropriately, instead of the Japanese version where they don't do Brooklyn accents, because that would be fucking weird. It's like running into an Australian who's also a Asian person, and an Asian with an Aussie accent is something that'll fuck you up for days. As I've been told. I haven't actually met one of these people yet, but it would be fucking definitely interesting. So out of the 26 episodes of Baccano, I loved it. Another recommended series was Welcome to the NHK. which was a very, very good show. Not something that I watched religiously. It didn't end on massive cliffhangers. It was just a progression, a storyline following a person with a massive social disorder who was a hermit, not more than a hermit. He was a hikimori, which is a social recluse, I suppose is the most North American definition of individual of that status. And it was a very, very interesting show. It gave me a little bit inside my life, except I'm not a NEET, a person who's not employed, educator, in training. I am actually in training. I just really don't like going to school. And I am employed, so I miss 2 out of the 3 prerequisites to be a NEET to move on to being a hikimori, which is just a... Actually, Derek is way too social to be a hikimori, but he's a leech upon his family, which is also a symptom of being one of those individuals. Then there's Furikuri, which was just a fucking... Not really a mindfucker... Then there was Furikuri, which really wasn't a mindfuck of a show. It was more of just a really weird, random set of events that happened. And I absolutely enjoyed it. I enjoyed the animation. I loved the... I can't say the storyline because there really wasn't one. The randomness, I suppose. I absolutely enjoyed the randomness of what was occurring within the show. Other shows that he recommended, actually, those were the 3 that I watched out of that. The rest of them I kind of stumbled upon on my own, luckily enough. Darker Than Black. Darker Than Black was a series where I had downloaded it fucking 5 years ago. Bobby was still around. I remember she actually watched one of the episodes by herself, and she's like, "This is a really good show. We should watch it together." And me being a complete asshole piece of shit in that relationship, I'm like, "You show interest in something? I have no interest in that anymore at all. God." And then fucking years later, I'm like, "Hey, I should watch this show." So I watched an episode, and I'm like, "Hey, this is really cool." Watching our episode, I'm like, "Fucking right, I am into this show now." Incredible. Season 1 was amazing. Season 1.5 was still really, really good. Season 2, Gygax actually had done a review on this, and I agree with him 100%. It was shit. They took the main protagonist, who was a fucking hardcore badass assassin contractor, and turned him into a alcoholic piece of shit. That one of the most annoying parts of the series was that they kept recycling the same animation as a filler for time, I'm pretty sure. Or the fact that they had just spent so much money on trying to create this animation in the show, like this certain sequence, that they're like, "We have to fucking milk this. We have to milk this at least 3 times an episode, the best we can." And they fucking did. They really, really got their quota on that. Like, we pumped a lot of money into this shit. We have to make it count. And they fucking pulled it off in spades. And I was so fucking sick of seeing it by the end of the series. I'm like, just end. Please, just fucking end. It wasn't a horrible series. It was just a horrible. Instead of having 2, it's only just 1. My God. And then there was Zetmen, which I'm pretty sure is a remake of an older anime. I never really did any research into it, but I marathoned like 8 episodes. Yeah, I think I watched like 3 episodes, and then I sat down and fucking watched the rest one day. And yeah, it is incredible, wonderful show. I enjoyed the action. I loved the storyline. I thought the character development was great. Fun. Very, very fun show. Same practically with Batum and K. K was not really that big into the action, but it was the level of character, not just for the actual people involved in the show, but the actual character of the entire series itself was it was different. I really enjoyed it. Batum was it was kind of like what I imagine would happen to Ryan one day. It's about a person who's completely absorbed into online gaming, and then one day he wakes up on an island which follows the same premise and rules of that online game that he's so overwhelmingly obsessed with. And it's just a matter of the person adapting and distinguishing. Because certain episode, Batum, the person kind of loses touch with reality and kind of goes into the state that he is when he's playing the video game. And hijinks ensue. Yeah. I don't think I was going with that for that, but whatever. Then there's Yu Yu Hakusho. 112 episodes of that, and that took quite a while. Although there were some very engaging episodes, but then it was a very slow burn series near the beginning. It was kind of the one where it's like, okay, we're gonna introduce you to this, and we're gonna see how people take it, and we're gonna kind of go with it from there. And it ended up actually running for a very, very long time. 112 episodes. Well, it's a quarter. 3/4 of a year? No, a quarter of a year. Yeah. In the Japanese timeline of releasing shit, where it's not like our schedule where we release 12 to 24 episodes of show, and then that's a season. No. They fucking Japanese are awesome. They go day by day by day by day. That's the thing I loved about Bleach. That's the thing I miss about Bleach. God damn. I miss Bleach. Fuck, I suppose that's one of my series I ended up finishing in 2012 as well, that I didn't even consider. I didn't even fucking put it on the list. Bleach. 361 episodes of that fucking amazing show. My God. Nothing has been that engaging since Yu Yu Hakusho. My God, nothing has been engaging since Dragon Ball Z. That's a bit of a joke for the abridged people that I imagine none watch. But speaking of abridged, segue. Mariah Nikki, or as the translation is called, Future Diary, was a series which I began watching as an abridged series because I had become a little obsessed, not really obsessed, just very, very curious about different abridged series out on the internet. You know, there's the Dragon Ball Z abridged, which is a fucking penultimate. There was Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, which was the precursor of all abridged series, practically. Lil Karibo, shout out. Then there's all the people that are associated and partnered up with Team 4 Star who do the Dragon Ball Z Abridged. And I kind of looked into more of what they had done, and Mariah Nikki came up. I'm like, well, what the fuck is this? So I started watching the Abridged series. I'm like, this is really fucked up and weird, and I want to watch the main show now. So I started watching the original show, and it's even more fucked up and weird than the Abridged puts out to be. And it was a great series, I thought. The ending of it was fucking very well done, but the actual end I thought was shit, so I actually had to hunt down the manga and find the true ending, and that I appreciated much more. Thank you, Internet, for giving me closure. Then there's Bimbo Gami Ga, which was God of Misfortune. I haven't gotten into the manga series, but the anime series for its 12... Excuse me. God damn it. Bimbo Gami Ga, for its 12-episode... For its 12-episode run, was very... very good. I like the subtle hints, and not really hints, but the nods to other anime series. For example, in one episode, they had mentioned Bleach, Dragon Ball Z, and I believe it was... Christ. The fuck was that show called? I watched the whole Bridge series. Fucking loved it. Christ, I should include a Bridge series on this thing. Totoro. Something about a strange adventure. But, great. Jotaro. damn it. That's the main character's name, and I can't fucking remember what the series is called. Jotaro, you wouldn't hit a blind man, would you? Yes. God, fucking... Nah, I'm not gonna look up. I'm not gonna be one of those people that are gonna look shit up. There's Jormungand. Jormungand, Perfect Order. 12 episodes of that, which was a continuation of Jormungand from last year. Jormungand. And that was a fucking incredible. I love that series. The storyline, just how it got my pulse pumping. It got my heart going with a lot of the scenes and the scenarios. It's a kind of a paramilitary series, and I really enjoyed it. Very fun. I wish, well, it went beyond what the manga had done, or the light novel, I suppose you'd call it. And it had its own little ending, and that I really enjoyed. It was a lot better than the actual light novel's ending, because the light novel's ending actually kind of called on itself. It's like, is this any way to really end a show? Like, we're not even developing these characters? And it's like, yeah, well, that's the end of it. And that was it. I'm like, okay. Well, at least you have a little bit of insight into what's happening. Then out of that, we have... Oni-chan Dakedo Ai Sa Ereba Kaneki Nai Yoni. Which is, I know he's my brother, but it doesn't matter because we're in love, is the translation for that. Which was the most awkward and uncomfortable, yet engaging and addicting shows I watched all year. It was a show where I found myself clasping tight in because I was so... I was emotionally uncomfortable. I was not moved. It was just... I was stirred by it. It was disturbing. It was wrong. It wasn't right. There's nothing about this series that was right or fucking acceptable. But I couldn't stop watching it. And I actually feel very, very inclined to go back and rewatch it. I know this is not a show that will ever be dubbed and that will ever fucking make it onto North American shores, unfortunately. But I totally understand and I accept that. I'll actually petition that it will not be, because this is some weird harem, siscon, lolicon shit in this show. It's fucking crazy and weird as hell. But I loved it. I don't know what that really says about me, but I loved it. Yeah, that's some weird shit. For North American cartoons, though, fuck, did I watch any fucking real series? I finished watching House, Season 8, which was great because I had stopped watching like 5 or 6 episodes near the end before they had said that... Wow, I completely forgot the dude's name. I watched 8 seasons with these characters, and I can't remember the dude's name. When Wilson got cancer, I stopped watching right before that episode. I didn't even know that was going to happen. And then they're like, hey, he has cancer. And then the next 5 episodes followed with that. I'm like, this is fucking amazing. And I marathoned all those episodes in a row because I just could not stop. And I was happy as hell. I didn't watch it beforehand. And Archer. Archer was the only other North American series I watched, which, well, I suppose Castle and How I Met Your Mother, but those streamed over in 2011 and all that. Stupid fall schedule. But good shows. I love anime.